Lambert, CEO of First National Bank. Outside his office window, Manhattan's skyline glittered in the afternoon sun. "Everything's in order, Ms. Chin," he said, sliding the final paperwork across his mahogany desk. "The acquisition is complete." I smiled, thinking of the meeting happening across town right now at Chin Global Industries. My father would be announcing his retirement, handing control to my younger brother Michael, the worthy son. "Has my father been notified?" I asked, signing the last document. "Not yet." Howard checked his watch. "Though I imagine he's about to be. Would you like me to call him now?" "Please." "And put it on speaker." Howard dialed, his fingers trembling slightly. He knew what was coming, the moment when James Chin would learn that his daughter had just acquired controlling interest in his company through a complex series of proxy purchases and silent partnerships. "Howard." My father's voice filled the room. "I'm in the middle of something important." "I apologize, Mr. Chin, but this can't wait. It's about Chin Global Industries' ownership structure." There was a pause. "What about it?" "The majority shareholder would like to meet with you." "Immediately." "Majority shareholder?" My father's voice rose. "That's impossible. I own controlling interest and I'm about to transfer it to my son." "Not anymore," I said, leaning toward the speaker. The sound of shattering ceramic told me his coffee cup had just hit the floor. "Victoria." He whispered my name like a curse. "Hello, father." Surprise. 10 years ago he told me I wasn't cut out for running the family business. That as his daughter, my role was to marry well and let Michael handle the company. So I'd left, started my own investment firm, and spent a decade quietly building the resources to take back what should have been mine. "This is a joke," he said firmly. "Victoria doesn't have the means to dash." "To what, father?" "To acquire a controlling interest in Chin Global? To outmaneuver you and Michael? To prove that your daughter might actually understand business better than your precious son?" Howard slid another document across the desk, the official ownership transfer. "Ms. Chin now controls 51% of Chin Global Industries' voting shares." "How?" My father's voice cracked. "Remember Anderson Holdings? The investment firm you dismissed as too small to matter? That was me. Pacific Rim Acquisitions last year? Also me. Every time you or Michael ignored an opportunity, I was there, quietly buying pieces of our company through shell corporations and private equity funds." The silence on the other end was deafening. "I'll be there in 20 minutes, I continued. "Don't bother finishing Michael's coronation ceremony. The company has new leadership now." "You can't do this," he protested. "The board won't accept dash." "The board already has. Check your email. While we've been talking, they've received proof of my ownership and my 5-year strategic plan. The same plan you rejected when I presented it 3 years ago." I could hear voices in the background, probably Michael, wondering why their perfect succession plan had just imploded. 20 minutes, father." "Oh, and Michael's corner office? Have it cleared out. The new CEO will need somewhere to work." The elevator ride up to Chin Global's executive floor felt like ascending to destiny. 10 years of careful planning, of swallowing my pride, of watching Michael fumble opportunities while I built my empire in secret. It all came down to this moment. My Louboutin heels clicked against marble as I strode through the familiar halls, now mine. Employees froze, recognizing the prodigal daughter who'd left a decade ago and returned as their boss. "Miss Chin," my new assistant Marcus fell into step beside me. "The board is assembled. Your father and brother are, well, they're not taking it well." "I wouldn't expect them to." I smoothed my Chanel suit, another symbol of the success they'd never noticed. "Has security removed Michael's things from the CEO's office?" "In progress. Though he's refusing to leave." "Perfect." I smiled. "Let him be there for this." The boardroom doors opened to chaos. Michael was red-faced, shouting at board members. My father sat slumped in his chair, looking old for the first time in my memory. The succession ceremony decorations, including a "Congratulations CEO Michael Chin" banner, hung limply in the background. "Good afternoon, everyone," I announced, my voice cutting through the noise. "I believe we have some business to discuss." "You backstabbing witch." Michael lunged forward, but security blocked his path. This was my company. Was it? I set my briefcase on the table, removing contracts and reports. "Let's review your qualifications, shall we?" I clicked a remote, bringing up financial data on the wall screens. Under your management as COO, our Pacific division lost $400 million. Your innovative restructuring plan cost us market share in 3 continents. And let's not forget the failed merger you championed last year. Those were calculated risks, he protested. They were incompetence, I corrected, protected by our father's blindness to your limitations. Dad finally spoke, his voice hollow. How long have you been planning this? Since the day you told me I'd never understand business like Michael does. I displayed a complex web of my acquisitions and investments. Every success you attributed to him. I was watching, learning, building something bigger. While you were grooming your son for power, your daughter was taking it. The board members shifted uncomfortably, caught between family drama and corporate reality. The numbers don't lie, I continued. My investment firm has outperformed Chin Global 3-1 over the past 5 years. The strategic plan you're holding? It's already been tested and proven in my companies. Your companies? Michael scoffed. Anderson Holdings is just a small dash. Anderson Holdings is me, I interrupted. Along with Pacific Partnership Group, Sterling Ventures, and 5 other investment firms you dismissed as irrelevant. Combined, they're worth twice what Chin Global is. The board members were nodding now, seeing the bigger picture. I'd been sending them detailed analyses for weeks, preparing them for this moment. While you were planning today's little ceremony, I gestured to the sad banner. I was finalizing deals that will transform this company. Real innovation, not just trading on the Chin name. You can't just walk in here and dash, Michael started. I already have. I took the CEO's chair, his chair, our father's chair, now mine. Security, please escort Mr. Chin to his new office. 20th floor, I believe. The junior analyst's bullpen could use some experienced help. You're demoting me? He looked to our father for help, but Dad just stared at the financial reports, seeing 10 years of his daughter's success laid bare. Consider it a learning opportunity, I smiled. A chance to earn your position instead of inheriting it. Marcus entered with more papers. Miss Chin, the press release is ready. And the sign company is here to change the executive office nameplates. Perfect timing. I turned to the board. Shall we begin the real business of the day? I have some changes to discuss. Dad stood slowly, straightening his tie. Victoria. I was wrong. Yes, you were. About many things. I opened my laptop, displaying Chin Global's new organizational chart. But unlike you, I believe in merit over genetics. You and Michael can stay, if you're willing to learn from the daughter you underestimated. The room fell silent as father and son faced their new reality. Outside, workers were already removing Michael's name from the CEO's door, replacing it with mine. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just taking control, it's making them watch as you do it better than they ever could. The next morning, every major business publication carried the story. Chin Global coup. Daughter outmaneuvers father and brother in stunning takeover. Victoria Chin, the hidden billionaire who bought her family's company. From rejected to ruler. How the Chin heiress built a secret empire. I sat in my new office, Michael's former sanctuary, reviewing the coverage while the city awakened below. The door opened and my mother rushed in, still in her morning tennis clothes. Victoria. Why didn't you tell me? She clutched a newspaper, her hands shaking. All these years building this in secret. Would you have kept it from Dad? I asked, though we both knew the answer. She'd always supported his decisions even when they hurt me. Your brother hasn't stopped crying, she said, sinking into a chair. Your father hasn't slept. They'll adjust. I turned my laptop to show her the morning's stock prices. Chin Global shares had jumped 30% on news of my takeover. The market certainly has. Marcus appeared at the door. Miss Chin, your father and brother are here for their new employee orientation. Send them in. They entered like defeated generals, Dad in his perfectly tailored suit, Michael in business casual, both looking like they'd aged years overnight. The analyst's floor is waiting for you, Michael, I said, not looking up from my work. Your team lead will show you your desk. This is humiliating, he growled. I was CEO for 12 hours. And I was unqualified for 10 years. I finally met his gaze. Consider this your chance to learn what I had to teach myself. Dad stepped forward. Victoria, please. We can work something out. Keep it in the family dash. Keep it in the family? I laughed, standing to face him. Like when you kept me out of leadership meetings. When you dismissed my strategic proposals. When you told the board I wasn't Chin material? I clicked a remote, bringing up decades of Chin global records on the office walls. Every major decision this company made in the past 10 years, I studied them all. Your successes, your failures, your missed opportunities. While Michael was playing CEO in board meetings, I was building something bigger than Chin Global could ever be. Your investment firms, Dad whispered. They weren't just for show. Anderson Holdings alone is worth $12 billion, I confirmed. Add in my other companies and I could buy Chin Global 3 times over. With cash. Mom gasped. All those years of thinking I was struggling, living off a small trust fund. But that's not even the best part, I continued, pulling up more data. Remember that expansion plan you rejected 3 years ago? The one you said was too ambitious. They nodded. I implemented it in my companies. Result? 300% growth in 18 months. I showed them the numbers. Everything you said couldn't work, I proved could. Everything you said I couldn't understand, I mastered. So this is revenge? Michael asked bitterly. No, little brother. This is business. I handed him his new employee badge. Now your orientation starts in 10 minutes. Don't be late, your team lead doesn't tolerate tardiness. Hi, team lead. He looked at the org chart. She's 25. And she understands modern business better than you ever did. I smiled. Age and gender don't determine capability, Michael. I thought you'd have learned that by now. Dad sank into a chair, finally broken. What happens to us now? That depends on you. I sat back behind my desk. You can fight this, try to challenge my ownership, waste time and money on legal battles you'll lose. Or, Mom prompted. Or you can learn. Really learn. Not just about business but about all the things you missed while focusing on the son you thought was worthy. Marcus entered with more papers. The first quarter projections are ready, and the merger team needs your sign-off. Thank you, Marcus. I turned back to my family. Time for you to go. Michael's orientation is starting and Dad, the board wants to discuss your new advisory role. Non-voting, of course. As they turned to leave, I called out one last time. Oh, and Michael, that parking spot you loved, the one right by the entrance. He stopped. Yes. Move your car. My helicopter needs somewhere to land. The door closed behind them, leaving me alone in the office I'd dreamed of since childhood. On the wall, workers were installing the new nameplate. Victoria Chin. Chief Executive Officer. Chin Global Industries. Below it, in smaller letters, a quote I'd chosen specially for this moment. Never underestimate the daughter you thought would never lead. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just taking what they